Hi YouTube, Brittini here from Simply Fundamental. So, today's topic, I'm going to get to talk to you about the IRS limits in your 401k. I'm sorry, the 2025 retirement contribution limits. So that's what this video is about. I started this channel because I truly believe not enough people are saving for retirement, and so it gives me great pleasure to talk about the retirement contributions that people are allowed to do for 2025, and I hope that you consider taking advantage of putting money in your retirement. About at least 50% of people rely solely on Social Security for all their retirement income once they retire. And I'm hoping that that changes and more people over time start contribute to their 401k plans, their 403b plans, and their 457 plans if they're working for any kind of employer. And all the difference between these 401ks and 403bs and 457s are just tax code numbers. So 401k plans are just typically from corporate employers, and 403b is the tax code for things like university, hospitals, and schools, I believe. And then 457 plans are like government um, employees are in 457 plans, I believe. I'm in a 401k plan, so that's what I concentrate mostly on as far as my own tax dollars. But whatever plan you're in, your employer allows you to put money in your plan. And sometimes, depending on the employer, they do what is considered a match. And so, at all things, you at least want to take advantage of reaching that match, so it's free money. So if your employer matches up to 6% of your salary, just make sure that you're getting 6%, that you're putting 6% in at minimum, because you want to make sure you get that free money in your plan. So let's go over it. Before the age of 50, anyone under the age of 50 are allowed to put in 23,500 into their retirement plans for 2025. And you can do this on a pre or post tax basis if your employer has a Roth plan. So pre tax means it's coming out of your paycheck and you're not taxed on the money. So you're getting help from the government. So maybe you're putting the whole 23,500 in and you're going up to that limit, but you're not going to feel a loss in your paycheck of 23,500 because the employer is going to be putting it in if you do it as a pre-tax basis. Now, if you're doing it as a post-tax basis, you are going to feel like you're putting in the 23,500. It's actually going to feel like more because you're doing with money that's already been taxed. The benefit of doing that is if you're not going to be taxed on that money ever again, and that money will grow and compound tax free. And there is no required mandatory distribution age as far as when it comes to taking out that money. As long as you are 59 and a half, you're allowed to touch that money. And as long as it's been in the plan for at least 5 years, you could take out your contributions if it's no longer in a firm sponsored plan. So it'd have to be rolled over into an IRA if you were to leave an employer, and you could always touch your contributions that you put in should you need that money. And then there's also the rule of 55. If you retire in the year of 55, if you fired, or if you if you have a health crisis, there are rules and tax code rules that allow you to touch your money before the age of 59 and a half without a 10% tax penalty. Because if you're touching your money before the age of 59 and a half, you're going to be taxed and penalized on, the 10% penalty tax to take that money out earlier. So before the age of 50, you're allowed to put 23,500. But some employers do also allow you to put what is called after tax dollars. And this is mostly in 401k plans. So if your firm allows you to put after tax dollars in the plan, you can put up to 23,500 in before tax, and then you can go up to 45,500, and you can bridge the distance, putting in another 22,500 in your plan until you reach the after tax dollar limit. Now, there is also a limit on what the total employer and employee can put in, and that is $69,000. So after tax, before tax, and with the employer match, the maximum that you can put in that the IRS allows is $69,000. After 50, anyone over the age of 50 can put in the same 23,500 pre or post tax if their plan allows. So that's up to you. That's up to depending on the income you make. The higher the income, the less likely it makes sense to put it in on a post tax. Probably makes more sense to do pre tax if you're a highly compensated employee because you're skimming the money off the tax of what you pay. And then there is the 7,500 catch up. So that is the standard catch up that you're allowed additional money that you could put in on a pre tax basis into your employer plan. But that would bring you to 76,000, and that also you would be capped at 45,500 with after-tax dollars. So this brings it to 31,000, and then you're allowed to put in a year versus the person under 50, but you still have the same after-tax dollar limit. So you can put another 14,500 on an after-tax dollar basis. It's almost like a backdoor 401k that you could do. But then your entire employer and employee match goes up to 76,500 that you're allowed to do. Then what happens is this is the first year only. Anyone who is 60 to 63 are allowed to contribute additional income into their what is called an enhanced catch-up. So they're allowed to put 23,500, same as everyone else, but then also another 11,000. I'll put it over here, 11,250 in what is considered a catch-up. So a catch-up basis, that would be 34,750 that they're allowed to take on a pre-tax basis. So they can get the tax break now, pay taxes on their money later when they retire. As long as they're still working, they don't have to worry about any retired mandatory distribution. But if they're not working and they're retired at the age of 73, they have to start touching their 401k. They are penalized if they touch their 401k before the age of 59 and a half. But again, there are some rules that allow people to bypass the 10% penalty for touching it before 59 and a half. And that would be the rule of 55 would be one example. If you retire or laid off or in the year that you turn 55, you can touch your money without the 10% penalty. So with the employer and the employee match, the total that anyone between the age of 60 to 63 would be $80,250. So this is with you before and after taxes and your employer match. That's the maximum the IRS allows an employee to put in. Anyone over the age of 64 are no longer allowed to do that 11,250 catch up. They're still subject to go to the after 50, and they're only allowed to go 31 versus 34,750. But again, the after-tax dollar limit doesn't change. The after-tax dollar limit, if your employer allows that, is still the 45,500. Now, this person who is 63 and older isn't able to put as much in after-tax dollars. So it almost doesn't matter about these catch-ups. The catch-ups just allow you to take out more now and avoid taxes now, but pay the taxes later. So what if you don't work for a retirement plan? What if you're not you're not working and you are working for a small employer, but you're still working and you want to contribute to a retirement plan? You're going to have to do it within a brokerage account. So there are individual retirement plans they're called IRAs. And the only difference is you're not going to see the tax benefit at the time you put it in, the same way as people who are working for corporate America. But at tax time, if you're doing it on a pre-tax basis, you are allowed to contribute in an IRA, an individual retirement plan, $7,000 a year, and an additional $1,000 a year if you are over the age of 50. So under the age of 50, you're capped at 7. Over the age of 50, you are capped, you have an additional $1,000 that you're allowed to put in. Now, whether or not you can take pre-tax basis on this money, whether or not you can do the money as a Roth, depends on there are income limits to do this. I'm not going to go through the income limits here. I didn't actually research what they offer 2025, but what you need to know is if you reach those limits, they phase out depending on your situation. If you're single, the phase out numbers are different, and if you are married, they're phased out different. When you go to put it in the brokerage account and you go to do your IRA, you can speak to the person there. The only difference is if you have ever rolled over a 401k or for any plan into an IRA, you are not able to put money in an IRA if you are still working because you didn't roll that money over in the IRS has tax rules against that. So if you never rolled money from a previous employer into the new employer, then you won't be able to put it into a regular IRA. You could do it, but you're just never going to see any tax benefit, and the IRS might hit you up with taxes. So make sure that you speak to your plan, your brokerage account, or wherever you're doing your IRA to ensure that you're able to do that. Now, if you're not working at all, if you're not working at all, you can't contribute to any plan. It has to be earned income. So the earned income, if you only made $6,000 for the year and you don't have any 401k plan, you have no 403 plan, you have no plan, but you earned $6,000, you're allowed to put that full $6,000 in an IRA. And this particularly happens for, I know for working mothers, they want to make sure that they have a plan. This would be a good opportunity. Even if you're working some income outside the home, you may want to take all that income and make sure that you're funding your retirement so that you have retirement for the future for yourself. So really consider that. Now, for self-employed individuals, if you own a business, you have several options of what you want to do. And that would be you could just fund your IRA. You could open up what is called a SEP IRA. And that is the SEP IRA is a self-employed plan. And that is you're allowed 25% of the income you earn to put in your retirement. So if you earn $100,000 a year, you're allowed to put $25,000 in. If you earn $200,000 a year, you're allowed to put $50,000 in. You are capped at $69,000. So if you earn $276,000, your cap stops. You're not allowed to put any more in. But you could see easily that you're actually at the same $69,000 of someone who is under the age of 50. So the catch up on that as well. So there's a catch up. So it's the same $69,000 that anyone could put in with they have the pre and the post tax. So consider doing that. Now, if you have a simple IRA, and then there are some tax benefits, you want to speak to a tax advisor. But if you have the simple IRA, you can put in 16,500, and as the employer for yourself, you can also the employer can put in 16,500 as well, and then there is, I believe, a 3,500 catch up. So that would be $20,000 anyone over the age of 50. There is no additional enhanced catch up for the SEP plan. I'm sorry, for the simple plan. But that gives you a decent amount of money, and as well as after tax dollars, you're still able to do that as well. But these are the different retirement plans. You want to think about the other thing you may want to think about doing is timing when you put your retirement plan in. I front load my retirement. So with my plan, with my employer, I put the most I can in at the beginning, the first half of the year. So I see a much smaller check. If you're considering retiring in the year of 2025, you may want to take advantage of this. You may want to model not getting a paycheck for a time being and having most of your money. And some plans allow you to put up to 90% of your after-tax dollars into your retirement, depends on your plan. But if you are thinking of retirement and you want to try to reach the IRS limits, you can do that. And just pretend you're not getting a paycheck. Try living without a paycheck and having all that money go into your retirement plan for that year. If you are young and starting out, you want to try to, you might not be able to reach the 23,500 that first year. But as you get raises, you want to try to raise the amount that you're putting into your 401k. They have immediately now, when people start jobs, that they are opted into the plans. And I think this is just a wonderful thing that happens because more people opt out of the plans, and they were finding that people were not contributing into their retirement. They wanted to see the most of their paycheck. But now people have to opt out if they don't want to contribute to their retirement. So we will hopefully see a change in the future where people have money outside of um, living solely on Social Security. So right now, I think the statistics are really bad. It is over 50% of people who live solely on Social Security in their retirement for all their retirement needs. And hopefully that will change with the opt out program. And people are putting money in their retirement. And when they start new jobs, it's automatically done for them. It's a small amount. I don't think they put in a lot. They start out it might only be something to get the employer match, but it's something. And and if you are in one of those plans, you want to consider raising and doing a feature within the plans itself that allow you to raise a little bit each year, so that as you get your raises, you're not even going to notice that a lot of the raise will automatically be saved for you in your retirement plan. Retirement planning for it is just so important. You won't have the option to retire early if you don't plan for your retirement, if you're not saving anything for your future. And the more time you have, the better off you're going to be when it comes to your contributions growing. Now, not all plans are the same, not all choices within the plans are the same. So you want to make sure that you're not just leaving it within the plan and not picking options. If you don't know what to pick, a lot of the plans themselves have what is considered like a retirement age plan, where they'll figure out the exact mix of stocks to bonds depending on your retirement age plan. So if you're going to be retiring in the year of 2040, you just pick the 2040 plan, and it will take the risk of what someone who should be, and it will reallocate and rebalance the plan for you each and every year. So that is a retirement age fund within the plan. So most plans have that. So consider, speaking to the plan provider, and every plan provider is different. Some of them, allow you to even go outside and pick individual stocks. I highly advise against that. I just think it's just too risky to have um, all your money in, just like maybe the company stock or anything like that. If you want to, you could probably just take a small percentage of the money you're doing. And they're saying the good rule of thumb is not to put any more than 5% of your money in any kind of risky plan, so that you're not, that money could grow to as, but if it did and it failed, you wouldn't be losing your house and home as far as your retirement plan goes. Anyway, these are just some of the things. Consider, at least if you're not able to reach the retirement max and you're not able to get up to the 76,500 or the 69,000 if you're under 50, that you consider at least getting the employer match. Just makes such a big difference. And yeah, I hope you hit me up in the comments if you reached your retirement max for the year. Love to hear about it. If you contributed for the first time, love to hear about it. What you have planned for 2025 when it comes to um, contributing to your 401k and your 403b or 457 plan. And yeah, just hit me up in the comments, and I will catch you on the next one. Save for your retirement. It matters.